For a first-round Qatar Open match, Alex Eala recently sold out the whole Khalifa International Stadium. The tournament organizers chose her as the primary attraction over world number one and well-known stars, while Grand Slam champions performed before half-empty audiences. While top seeds see their sessions draw sporadic applause and empty seats sizzling in the desert sun, 7,000 Filipino supporters transformed a Tuesday afternoon match into a World Cup atmosphere. Do you believe that current Grand Slam champions lack the star power that Alex Eala possesses? Or is this really a fleeting appearance of solidarity from the Filipino community? Give your honest opinion in the comments section below. The events in Doha are not merely unexpected, therefore let's get the facts straight away. In contemporary women's tennis, it is truly unprecedented. The stadium was packed out when Alex Eala, who is not in the top 100, faced Teresa Valentova of the Czech Republic in the first round. Not only did it sell out, but it also attracted a sizable crowd. Minutes after the itinerary was made public, tickets were gone. Scalpers showed up for a tennis match in the first round. Crowds waiting outside the player entry were too dense to safely handle, therefore security had to be stepped up. To put things in perspective, the Qatar Open has played host to tennis greats including Agathe, Justine Henin, Maria Sharapova, and Serena Williams. While top seeds settle in, early rounds are usually subdued affairs with sporadic clapping, empty seats, and courteous ambience. For WTA 1000 events, that is typical. You schedule the major games during prime time in the hopes of drawing respectable attendance. Although they don't increase ticket sales, the early rounds are filler content that helps finance the competition. However, Alex Eala totally defied that concept. A 20-year-old Filipino was chosen as the primary attraction by the tournament organizers after reviewing their draw and identifying several Grand Slam champions and top 10 players. Consider the consequences of that choice. In essence, they are acknowledging that players who have won majors and were ranked number one in the world are less appealing than IA. And they were spot on. The stadium didn't simply fill up. It changed into a residence. There are flags everywhere. The compound echoes with chants. Decibel levels comparable to football matches at the World Cup. It was ecstatic for Eala and oppressive for Valentova. The setting for the individual tournament match was either the Billie Jean King Cup or the Davis Cup. Tennis officials frequently ignore the obvious reason why this occurred. There is a sizable Filipino expat population in Qatar. There are hundreds of thousands of Filipinos who work and reside. They have been waiting for a global hero to support for years. They had boxer Manny Pacquiao. Alex Eala is now a tennis player. Additionally, they transformed the Khalifa International Complex into a stronghold. The mobilization was spontaneous and immediate upon the announcement of the schedule. Fan clubs, community conversations, and social media groups were all activated at the same time. This was not sponsored advertising or corporate marketing. People who were desperate to support one of their own on a global scale organized this grassroots campaign. Let's now compare that to the outcomes of previous sessions. Matches involving the top seeds at the same time slots reportedly drew between 30 and 40% of the field. The arena was only partially filled when Grand Slam champion and former world number one Aryna Sabalenka performed. There were plenty of seats available for EGA SEO early matches. Theoretically, these players ought to be the main attractions at any event, but they were unable to easily create the same atmosphere as Eala did. If you're one of those elite players, that must hurt. Majors have been won by you. You've been given the top spot. For years, you have controlled the tour. Then, as you're performing for empty seats, this 20-year-old Filipino who has never won a WTA title sells out a stadium. Since Eala has shown that star power in tennis is more than just accomplishments or rankings, the jealousy is genuine and quite understandable. Making a connection with an audience is the key. It's about standing for something greater than personal success. Filipino supporters aren't merely rooting for a gifted tennis player. They are in favor of representation. On a stage that has always been dominated by Europeans and Americans, they are honoring Filipino greatness. Eala had to deal with a strain of 7,000 people yelling her name at every stage, making the match itself extremely exciting. It's crushing pressure, but it's also a benefit. You expect courteous applause when you leave, but instead you're hit with a wall of noise. Overhitting and crushing every ball in order to hear the roar is the propensity. But rather than hero shots, tennis rewards perseverance and consistency. Valentova is a tough cookie. She is a strong Czech player who uses hard ground strokes and a huge serve, and she had previously defeated Eala. Prior to this match, Valentova had a 1-0 head-to-head advantage. Eala wasn't merely battling the opponent on the other side of the net. She was battling the specter of that earlier defeat as well as the statistical oddity of her struggles against Czech players. However, Eala's mental state has changed. She may have imploded under that expectation 2 years ago. Rather, she directed the energy. She stayed in points she had no business winning by using her defensive prowess, which includes the lefty forehand hook she mastered at the Rafael Nadal Academy. She prolonged rallies, making Valentova hit one more ball before the Czech player gave up. The second set included a moment that instantly went viral. Almost into the doubles alley, Eala was dragged wide to her backhand side. She ran, slid across the hardcourt, and flicked a passing shot down the line that ended up in the corner. Seismographs in the area picked up the roar because it was so loud. It's not exaggerated. It was truly deafening. Doha's courts are grit-hard, medium-slow, and capable to handling spin. Eala's game benefited from this. Taller, flatter hitters like Valentova find it challenging to build rhythm when she digs into the court with her big top-spin forehand and leaps high. Eala countered the Czech's power advantage by pushing Valentova behind the baseline with a high bounce. Eala seized the microphone and addressed the audience in Tagalog following the game. The location erupted. She expressed her gratitude to them for welcoming her. She recognized the sacrifices made by foreign workers who paid for tickets with their hard-earned money. It was this emotional bond between the athlete and the fan that revolutionized sports. Muhammad Ali possessed it. That's what Pacquiao possessed. That's what Eala now has. Aryna Sabalenka, meantime, is probably watching all of this from her hotel room, wondering how she's been written off at a tournament where she has a real chance to win a title. She has several Grand Slam victories. She has held the top spot in the world. She ought to be the center of attention. Rather, the organizers focused all of their marketing efforts on a player who has never taken home a WTA championship. The organizers are not being criticized. Their business decision was the right one. Eala is a ticket seller. At least not in Qatar, Sabalenka doesn't. In actuality, the Filipino community turns out in large numbers to cheer for their athletes. Other communities don't, or don't feel it as strongly. This highlights a basic issue with the WTA's star marketing strategy. To decide who is included in promotional materials, the tour has relied on conventional measurements like ranking and Grand Slam titles, although these metrics don't account for demographic support or cultural link. Even though Eala is ranked lower than Sabalenka, from a commercial standpoint, she is far more valuable in Qatar. There are substantial economic ramifications. After reviewing this data, tournament directors from all over the tour have realized they have been scheduling matches incorrectly. In an attempt to increase attendance, they have begun placing high seeds in prime places. But what if, regardless of rating, the player with the most ardent fan base should be awarded those slots? This further emphasizes the Asian market's unrealized potential, particularly in Southeast Asia. With varying degrees of success, the WTA has courted China for years. However, the Philippines is an example of a market that is motivated solely by passion. The catalyst is Eala. If she keeps going in this direction, we might witness additional Southeast Asian events or, at the very least, acknowledge her as a key worldwide marketing asset. This may appear as a curiosity or a one-time event to viewers from around the globe, but it's actually reflecting a change in tennis demography. For many years, American and European athletes have dominated the sport. These markets are the focus of the sponsorship funds, media attention, and infrastructure. However, because they lacked a champion to support, people in places like the Philippines, who have sizable tennis fan following, have been overlooked. They do now. Additionally, they are showcasing their ability to create environments and ticket sales that are on par with those in Europe or America. Eala just demonstrated that connections are more important than achievements when it comes to attracting audiences, which should frighten established stars who have grown accustomed to believing they are irreplaceable. Eala will be under tremendous pressure in the future. Because they are unable to place her on side courts or bury her in morning sessions, the tournament administrators are rushing to arrange her matches. No matter who she is playing, she is now the main attraction. When you control the schedule rather than the schedule controlling you, that is the epitome of star power. However, there is risk involved. A connection like this requires a lot of emotional investment. In front of home crowds, young players frequently win intense, emotional matches only to lose badly in the following round. The hangover from adrenaline is real. Eala's squad must put her to sleep, aid in her recuperation, and return their attention to the upcoming opponent. No matter how boisterous the audience was, the tournament is not in its first round. This tournament will be characterized by pictures of empty seats at other games in contrast to the sold-out Eala session. The tale of Qatar Open 2026 will revolve around Alex Eala, regardless of who wins the trophy. She brought vitality, noise, and color to what was beginning to look like just another boring early-season competition. Top seeds like Sabalenka must be adjusting to this fact. They are currently better players. They have better outcomes and achievements, but they are unable to produce the environment that I do. It's difficult to recover from such psychological setback. They are forced to face the fact that being the best player does not equate to being the most significant player. Tennis officials should take note of what the Filipino supporters showed. Professional sports depend on enthusiastic, involved fan bases. Even with the world's best players, the sport will suffer if no one is interested enough to attend and foster a sense of community. Everywhere there is a Filipino community, which is essentially everywhere in the world, EA has an existing fan base that follows her. Better training or better shooting won't be able to duplicate that competitive advantage. It's demographic and cultural. And it's helping guys like Sabalenka, who have dominated through sheer tennis brilliance, understand that being a star in the modern era involves more than just winning games. While Grand Slam champions played to empty seats, Alex Eala recently sold out the arena for a first-round match. She was selected by the Qatar Open organizers as their major draw instead of world number one, and the choice paid off with an unparalleled level of excitement and ticket sales. Rankings are no longer the focus of star power. Connection is key, and Eala has it. For more tennis reality checks, hit like and subscribe.